Hey guys, just another run-of-the-mill Snowflake Iron Man build. This time, Morytania Only. Let's fucking do this. So, let's just talk a little bit about why this account exists. I started this account because I was really inspired by Settled's series, him doing the exact same thing but as an Ultimate Iron Man. I decided that the Ultimate Iron Man life looks a little bit too daunting for me, and hardcore, I feel like I'm just going to die in the first couple bits, which I did anyway. So, I just went straight for the regular Iron Man. Sue me. Okay? So, getting to where I am now, I've followed Settled's video essentially to get into the lock. So as you've been able to see, these are the 4 quests that I had to do before I entered the lock. The Restless Ghost is just to unlock other quests in Morytania. Rune Mysteries was a prereq for Priest in Peril. Druidic Ritual unlocked Herblore, and Priest in Peril obviously gets you into Morytania. See, that last one is where it starts getting tricky, because you have to kill 2 level 30 enemies in Priest in Peril, one of which regens 1 HP every 15 seconds, which means you have to get kind of creative on how you're going to kill them. How Settled did this in his video was by pickpocketing rogues in the wilderness to get a poison dagger. I did the exact same thing. This starts the lock with me having 32 thieving. Luckily, I was able to complete the entire quest line without having gained any levels in any combat skills, so I was still level 3, except for the fact that I had some prayer experience from Restless Ghost. Initially, I trained my combat by killing chickens, like this, and then trained prayer by burying the bones, like this. Later on, I trained on experiments, like this. I killed werewolves, like this. And I died, like this. Welcome to the cave and the loot skeleton. Okay, so this skeleton is really cool because he has a bunch of really weird shit on his drop table. I'll show it to you here. But namely, a bunch of armor upgrades. So you can see here in my inventory, I've got a bunch of different gear upgrades. I actually don't know what's from what. It's this and werewolves that are the 2 main sources of things. But Steel Warhammer, I believe Steel Full Helm came from here. And I believe the Adamant Kite Shield. But more particularly, a Mithril Scimitar, which is something that is basically best in slot for a really, really long time. And originally, this is how I was killing him. I would do the flinch, and you have to wait until his health bar pretty much goes away, and rinse and repeat. It's very slow. Until I discovered that you could use a Iron Spear with a poison that also drops from here. So I was doing that for a while as well, and that worked out pretty okay. You know, just pretty okay. And then somebody told me about this cool spot over here. And what this spot is that it's a de-aggro spot, so he's no longer aggressive to me, which is really, really useful because now I can get the hit and immediately click back over, and then attack, and then immediately click back over, and I can basically be hitting him in almost constant time, not losing any ticks to having to do any flinching or anything, and he only rarely will be able to attack me. And the reason I'm using a Steel Warhammer instead of something like a Scimitar or something like that is that this skeleton is weak to crush, and this just happens to be the best crush weapon that I have. So it's a lot easier to get kills this way. So here's the drop table for the skeletons. Actually, this is considered Tarn's Lair, even though it's not. It's just the main entrance, right? But there's spawns for them here. Okay, so if we go ahead and take a look at this drop table, we get some cool potion drops we can get. Guam Leaf Rare, it's not that useful for us right now, but this drop table is super weird. It's been constantly updated by people who are Morytania only recently, but a lot of the notable drops like Adamant Kite Shield is best in slot. It's really, really good from here for quite a while actually. And the Mithril Scimitar is your best weapon, Mithril Plate Legs, best armor, until later when we start getting like rune drops from the Shades of Morn minigame. But also there's a couple of other drops in here, like Silver Bar. If you're planning on doing this lock yourself as well, you'll know that you need a Silver Bar for Nature Spirit. So you can bring in the Sickle Mold from the outside world to be able to complete Nature Spirit, but you can also let yourself earn the Silver Bar over time, which is kind of cool. Also, really weird drops like Weapon Poison. It's actually kind of useful. I've already used it on the Iron Spear drop here, so now I have a poison weapon. It's pretty awesome. I mentioned this earlier, but the only other source of interesting loot comes from Canopus villagers. Moreover, the werewolf form of the Canopus villager. So, Canopus villagers normally have 60 HP, level 24, and they hit a max of 2. But when they turn into the werewolf form, they get a little bit more HP, and they're much higher and much harder hitting. The way to get the werewolf is to use any weapon that isn't a Wolfsbane. You can use a Wolfsbane to get them down to like 1 HP and then switch over weapons, and they'll heal about 38 HP, the difference that from their total level. So it does make it a lot easier to kill the werewolf, and that's kind of what I did. The werewolves themselves and the villagers have completely different drop tables, but the wiki doesn't really reflect this, so you can't get any of this from the villagers. They have their own interesting loot table that's a lot of ores and bars and things like that, but it's generally not useful for combat upgrades. The werewolf upgrades that are really great right away, if you can get a steel scimitar, which is supposedly a common drop, that's instant upgrade from nothing. You basically are using an axe or a pickaxe like I was from the mine, from the haunted mine. But the mithril scimitar, also really good. I've actually, from talking with people, I think it might actually be a rare drop. It's just not labeled as such. I also think the rune medhelm might be a rare drop, just not labeled as such. But again, these are best in slot. The mithril square is only worse than the adamant kite shield that you get from skeletons. So yeah, a bunch of herbs as well. Nothing else really in here that's that great, but I mean, getting some iron and coal, since you're so close to a bank, it's pretty easy. And yeah, you can pretty easily kill these. Also, this wine of Zamorak will be really nice for later on with herblore, because we don't have access to those secondaries. Same with white berries. So yeah. Yeah, so we're closing in on the last things of this account that need to be filled in. So the only other really big mystery was how to get money. In Settled's video, he found a spawn of papyrus in Slep, and you can go get a full inventory of that and go back and sell it, and that gives you just a little bit of starting cash to be able to work with and do something. Luckily, I got a random event, the Flippa one, that allowed me to get 5 cut ruby gems, and I sold 4 of them to the general shop in Port Phasmatis because they are worth 400 GP each. So I hopped worlds each time, and that gave me a really nice starting cash stack to work with. If you didn't have that, though, you would have to go do the papyrus method. Once you have that starting cash stack, you have access to food in the form of those Moonlight Meads, which heal 4 and have no downsides. With Runelight, you can just spam left click to get the trade option, and so it's really, really fast. Use those, and then you go to the only real sustainable form of money making that I've found, and that is the snails. Generally, you just go for whatever snail's around, you kill it, it'll drop a thin snail or some sort of snail meat, depending on what level it was, that you can cook if you want, but it will always drop a shell. There's a bunch of different types, but they all have the exact same stats, they just look different. You take a chisel to it, and you'll turn it into a snelm. And that snelm will give you just a little bit of experience. It takes 15 crafting, which the way you get the crafting in the first place is doing the glass blowing method, like Settled did in his video with that starting cash stack that you have. Once you're able to do this, though, wearing a snelm significantly lowers the DPS of the snails on you. Even if you're low level, you'll be able to at least get a couple of kills. And once you get one, you can sell a fully made snelm to the Port Phasmatis General Shop for 120 GP, and so you can hop worlds if you want to go and get away with that. But at that point, you're able to self-fund your food and get more snelms, and so I did that right away as soon as I could and got like 20k, and I've been sitting on it since. I haven't gone and worked on it since then, since the very, very beginning. But all these snelms are the exact same, and they do significantly lower DPS. I can't stress that enough. You could have a better helm. It is pretty good. I think they're as good as steel full helms. But yeah, it for some reason it just helps a lot against snelms. They do virtually no damage to you. And when you're doing your agility training, if you're low level, you might want to be wearing these as well. Actually, as I was editing this video, I totally forgot about the really convenient moneymaker that I didn't know about until later. I didn't venture down this far. If you were ballsy enough to go down here and you had just like a little bit of food, maybe use the pies that you get from the quest, you can come down here and find these spawns of steel longsword and steel pickaxe. And the reason this is significant is obviously It's free steel gear. Like a free steel longsword is pretty good. These skeletons will try to attack you though. So you might want to either wait up top until you've lost aggro, wait out here until you've lost aggro. Then they won't get mad at you. But these are worth quite a bit of money, right? So I think it's actually the shop in Port Phasmatis will actually buy it for the low alc price. So if we go look that up, sorry about that. My voice is going away for some reason. The low alc price is 200, so the store will buy it for 200 each. So if you wanted to, you could come down here, lose aggro, and then just hop worlds over and over again and get like a near full inventory of this, and then use that stuff for money. Okay, so the last bit of this video, I'm just gonna try and show skills and how I got to where I am. The only skills that I really haven't talked about at all yet are Herblore, which I did at Chaos Druids and Slep, and just various herbs over the course of time. Thieving from getting rogues, from getting into the lock. Crafting from doing glass blowing and then snail helms. Slayer from, I've gotten 2 Slayer tasks that are completable. The first one was bats, which I did giant bats, and the second one was skeletons. And then Hunter, which is kind of a debatable, controversial topic, but here's the thing. There are swamp lizards in this area, in Morytania. Currently, though, there are no small nets, and there's no way to train Hunter whatsoever. So the lowest level thing that you could train on would be baby implings, barehanded, but you'd need to be level 17 in order to barehand catch a baby impling. So that would mean that you'd need to lamp all the way to 17 Hunter just to be able to barehand catch baby implings over time. I decided that this was a little bit too strict, so I went ahead and gave myself permission to go and train Hunter, and just Hunter, to 29. I gave myself a butterfly net and also some impling jars. That way I can just straight up catch those things, as well as train swamp lizards. The reason is that I don't want to have to deal with the barehanding of things. Getting the net and jar means that I have to carry around a net and jar at all times if I want to catch those implings. And it's not like I can just teleport around. I'm going to have to sprint back and forth, and most of the time you're going to run out of energy. So it's not that helpful to have the slightly higher level, but I can catch things at slightly earlier. So right now I don't even know what I'm able to catch. So baby implings and young implings, and yeah, barehanded baby implings, which is good. But the thing that's really important is that baby implings have a ball of wool drop, which there's no other way to get. So if you wanted to string your own jewelry, you were just out of luck before. I think this is a really nice way to be able to get those rare commodities, which is funny that ball of wool is a rare commodity in this account. But yes, that's how it is. So I also allowed myself to get some small nets. I got an inventory full. I will allow myself to return to do that. In the future, I'll just use the charter ships to go to like Port Sarim, buy it, and then charter back, so that it does actually cost me quite a bit of gold to do that. But I should be able to train Hunter on swamp lizards and through implings pretty passively. So that's that explained. Like I said, it's all part of that. If there's something in here in Morytania, if there's content here, I'm going to go and do it. I'm going to allow myself to go get what I need in order to complete it. I will try my best to stay within Morytania unless it's just seemingly dumb. I don't like lamping. That's it. Mining, I think it was from passive. I started mining some stuff when I was in the haunted mines, because you can down there. I just don't really remember. I must have done it. I don't remember. Fishing, I got 2 of the Evil Bob fishing events, so I'm level 10. I think I need like 27 or something to get slimy eels. 28. And that will be in the swamps. So basically just going to have to keep doing random Bob events for 650 experience a pop until we get to level 28. I'm not going to go and do anything sooner than that. I don't think that it's really worth it. There's plenty of good food options. Temple trekking can give you lobsters, so I'm not too worried. And then the rest of the skills. Wood cutting, I just chopped down these trees right here using some of the axes, and then I burned some of them. And then the cooking in particular, the reason I was doing this is because I wanted to be able to cook the thin snails, and then I realized this is just pretty good. So what you do is you get a bunch of money, and then you go trade Rufus over here. He sells a bunch of raw meats. So they're just basic meats like chicken and stuff, but he's got 10 in stock and they only cost 1 GP at all times. So you just buy out his shop. I had a couple of logs in my inventory, so then I would light one, start cooking all the stuff, go over and bank, rinse and repeat. And yeah, farming I did off of a couple of just raking weeds, and that's also where I died the one and only time. So yeah, that's the account so far. Okay, goals for the future. Right now, short term, I just want to finish the Slayer task. Right now I have the ability to go kill banshees, which is really cool, but anyway, the real big goals right now are to unlock temple trekking. And more specifically, I need temple trekking because I want to get a bowstring, and then I can go and actually finish Ghost Ahoy. The other requirement for Ghost Ahoy is 25 agility. I think the herb lore will be more important because I'll be able to make some basic potions right away. It's going to be tough, but that unlocks, just like I said, temple trekking, as well as the Shades of Morton minigame teleport, which will be the first teleport available on the account. So I should be able to travel around better, and if I die, at least I can just log out for a little while and then wait and then teleport back. But with those two things, I'd be able to get the ectophile, and that will be game changing. I will be able to use that to train mining and smithing just way better than I was before. And so yeah, those are the main goals right now. I might take a little bit of a detour to go get some prayer up with ghasts, or maybe kill some more skeletons to try and get the mithril plate legs, but those are just for fun side goals. Okay guys, so to close out the video, I figured I'd show my bank account. That way you guys would see where I'm at right now and what I have to work with. So here we go. Let's get right into it. I have a couple different tabs. So first off, I have food tab, my gear tab, my skilling tab, anything that related to snail helms that I haven't went and sold yet, questing stuff, potions and stuff like that, and then runes. So I have about 10k left from everything that I had said that I did when I got 20k from before. I use that to get my crafting up and a lot of food items, just miscellaneous things here. The small nets actually should probably go here, but yeah. Moving on, we got food. I haven't used any of the pies yet. I didn't want to use them. I figured they were pretty good slotted items, so I didn't want to use them. So yeah, we just got some basic foods. I've cooked them all up. I left placeholders in because I liked it when it deposited nicely. As for armor, there's been a lot of changes because obviously as I've gotten better gear, I've changed it. But right now, these are my best in slot things right now. So Myth Scimitar, definitely best in slot. I'm actually wearing it right now, so I'll get to that in a bit. But you can see all the different things. The leather armor I made. The steel warhammer is significant because it is the best in slot against the skeletons because their crush is so weak. You can actually just do the flinching method that I showed before and get that. Here's that poison spear I was telling you guys about that I was using. I haven't really used it for anything else since then. I might use it for the giant skeletons. It might be easier or just like more AFK to just poison them and look away. I don't think there's a de-aggro space, so you'd have to do it the old slow way. But yeah, there we go. I also have some games necklaces from there. Don't think they're ever going to be useful for anything. I might be able to alch them for some money, for like a couple K. But moving on to the crafting tab. Here's those gems that I was telling you that I got from before. I actually got a sapphire from, I think it was a rare drop from somebody. I don't remember. Maybe it was Chaos Druids. And another uncut ruby. So I kept it just in case. 5 emeralds. Like I said, I got the same thing for rubies. I just didn't want to sell them this time because I have them. This will actually be really great because I'll be able to use this on the sickle for later quests. So I'll be able to get that emerald sickle and maybe the Evandus flail, depending on how far I get, how soon. And yeah, the herb collection is coming along nicely. Currently, I can't actually clean Marintils, but once I can, I'll be able to do that. I'm hamstrung right now because I don't have Eye of Newts, which is actually, I was thinking about going to Banshees just because they have an uncommon drop chance of Eye of Newt. So hopefully I'd be able to get some of those, and that would greatly speed up the grind for this because right now it's just cleaning grimy guams. Once I get that, moving on to Marintils and stuff will be a lot easier. Ideally, as soon as I get to 15, we were able to make that serum 207 with the Terramin, so be able to get herb lore up a lot faster that way. And I just have occasional strength potions and stuff from random Dr. Jekyll and Hyde or whatever event. And then the last tab is the runes that I've collected over the course of this time. There's not that many, but it's something. We're getting there. 36 mind runes. I don't know what the math is on it, but I need to be able to get a certain level of magic before I can start doing stuff. I think from everything I've read, I should probably do it on barrows. Maybe can just get through barrows, getting kills on things, safe spotting some of the creatures in the catacombs, and then once I'm able to do that, you can complete it and just get mind runes. And if I just get mind runes, if I can get an air staff from other things, I should be able to use that to train my magic. Ideally, as soon as I get to 40, I will allow myself with the ectophile to be able to teleport to my house and back. And that'll be really cool. It'll unlock construction. And so yeah, that's kind of the account so far. The best in slots is looking like this. Total baller. I could potentially go get a Tyrus helm just for that fashion scape, but I think this is fine as is for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. And yeah, peace.